No one is even close. Traditional automakers are like a decade behind still, at least a decade. I would hang myself if I worked for a traditional car company right now, out of sheer embarrassment. Like when they start pulling this thing apart, their mind is going to be blown to the point of like, why do we even come to work every day?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
We're on the YouTube trending page right now. The #1 trending video, driving Tesla Cybertruck by Marquez Brownlee, racked up almost 8 million views in a day. Not bad. If we continue scrolling, we find that not too far down the list, exclusive 2024 Tesla Cybertruck full review and drag race, having racked up almost 2.5 million views in a day, followed by My Cybertruck Experience, having racked up 2.5 million views in a day. And yet another, Tesla Cybertruck driven by Top Gear, at 1.6 million views in a day. So obviously, no one's interested in Cybertruck. It's going to be a huge flop, and all 2.1 million people who currently has a reservation will cancel. But seriously though, Cybertruck is currently breaking the internet. But we knew that was going to happen, right? Now, one of you in particular, from Haggerty, who I'll be honest, I'd never heard of until yesterday. I'm just not a car guy. I'm sure all the car people have heard of this channel. And I have to say, this review is incredibly well done. 10 out of 10 on production, storytelling, everything. If you want a lesson as a content creator in how to create viral content, which admittedly will require weeks of production and planning, this video is a masterclass. Highly recommended. And again, till yesterday, I'd never heard of Jason Camisa. I hope I got the surname right. But apparently, lots of people have, because the guy's name's literally in the title and in the thumbnail. So clearly his opinion matters, at least to some people, I'm assuming, to car folks. So on the subject of Jason's opinion, I was tipped off to this excellent podcast discussion on the Carmudgeon Show, Carmudgeon Show. Link in description to the full podcast. Highly recommended. Lots of compelling insights, and I really do mean this. Far more valuable than all the bells and whistles in the review itself. But likely this podcast isn't going to do millions of views. But if you really want some incredible insights, and I mean right down to the details, check it out. I'm just going to focus on a few key highlights because it's quite interesting. We are listening to two car guys, car experts or automotive experts or some combination thereof. They really know what they're talking about when it comes to automotive and technology. Two very smart guys who also, admittedly, in their own words, literally, as we'll see in this video, really wish Tesla hadn't made such a compelling product, really wish Elon Musk wasn't so successful at what he's doing, but aren't letting their emotions get in the way, at least not too much. Maybe an analogy would be suitable. It's almost as if these two guys have a girlfriend known as the legacy automotive industry and the brands they know and love. And Tesla is currently fucking their girlfriend, making her squirm and scream, pressing a button constantly, blowing her mind like has never been done before. And they're just sitting in the corner watching this happen and going, I tell you what, man, I can't perform like that. I've never made a scream like that. But I really wish that this wasn't the case. But I mean, hey, I can't argue with the facts. I've never heard him make those sounds before. This seems to be the vibe of what's going on here. Let's watch a few highlights just toward the end of this podcast. And again, I highly recommend that you folks watch the full thing, full of gems. We're just going to get to some of the juicy parts.
He's a very controversial person, but the man is responsible for changing the face of transportation already. And just as no one is caught up. No one is even close. Lucid, maybe, but that's all the same people that did the Model S. The traditional automakers are like a decade behind still. And we thought behind those cars, like Model 3, Model Y, at least a decade, if not more. And we're like, okay, well, the ground is gaining slowly. And he just fucking walloped the entire industry with a passive aggressive PDF, say how to develop a 48-volt vehicle. It's, you can criticize this thing all you want for how it looks and what it means and whether all of this entire thing was necessary. But holy shit, what went into this is like, I would hang myself if I worked for a traditional car company right now, out of sheer embarrassment. Like when they start pulling this thing apart, their mind is going to be blown to the point of like, why do we even come to work every day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
a seismic shift.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the fact that it has to look like that and piss off so many people and whatever is just beside the point. Like, do we need to be driving 6,700 pound suburban assault vehicles?
Yeah, so this is the same thing that we encountered with the Lucid, which is to say that wouldn't it be nice if this technology were packed into a form factor that we liked better?
You and I like better. Right?
Yes.
Because a million people plunked down a deposit on this thing.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. And this is important. We're getting a perspective from some folks who clearly aren't huge fans of Cybertruck's aesthetic and or don't really enjoy seeing their girlfriend get railed by Tesla, so to speak. Understandable. But the facts are the facts. In excess of 2 million reservations for Cybertruck, and boy oh boy, after the unveil and these review videos, I'm sure that number overall has climbed dramatically and will continue for weeks and months to come.
Yes, yes.
Not a million people would plunk down a deposit on a Volkswagen Golf-size Tesla.
Correct.
Which fucking irritates me to no end.
And again, I just have to point out, notice fucking irritates me to no end. So I'm not being a hater here. I'm just observing. Obviously, these guys are very loyal to either the legacy automotive industry or particular legacy automotive brands. And they really aren't enjoying watching their metaphorical girlfriend get nailed and have orgasm after orgasm after orgasm at the hands of Tesla.
But eventually this stuff deserves to trickle down into the buy here, pay here's lots.
I'm going to just pull up an email just to make sure there's not something I forgot.
You took notes.
I have a million photos from the factory and, pages and pages of notes, but we did some wild shit. The video's great. And so now that I'm done saying all the nice things about it, I got to say, I think the stainless is going to be a problem
from a housekeeping standpoint.
From a housekeeping standpoint, we all have a stainless refrigerator.
Yes. We all.
we all. I mean,
some people have white refrigerators.
Okay, some people have black refrigerators, but we've all seen a stainless steel refrigerator and all the fingerprints that gets on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, just jumping in here again, this is a fair point if you're a consumer who gives a major fuck about not having fingerprints on the exoskeleton of your almost indestructible vehicle. So I get it. But let's think about the trade-offs here. On one side, you have shows fingerprints. That's a negative if you care about that. On the other side, you have nearly indestructible, bulletproof, can smash with a sledgehammer. If you scratch it, which takes some effort, you can literally use a bit of steel wool or whatever the fuck you guys in the US call it and buff it out with your hand. Literally, you don't chip paint, don't scratch paint because there is none. It's literally stainless steel, a special type, non-corrosive. It's going to last much longer than you will live. Looks cool AF. And if you don't like the fingerprints, you can certainly wrap it. So again, I'm not picking on these guys. I'm just pointing out that the trade-offs in terms of the stainless steel exoskeleton versus this very minor criticism, it shows fingerprints. I think the vast majority of consumers, probably 99.6942%, will give literally zero fucks about fingerprints showing on Cybertruck's exoskeleton, given all the perks. But hey, that's just me. What would I know? I'm not a car guy.
Okay. You can't buff this car. You have to hit it with like a Brillo pad basically, or Scotch-Brite. And there are sharp edges. There's one spot in the episode where I actually did slice my hand open as I was just walking by, and it was just like, whatever. And I get my lines, whatever, blah, 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 fuck. And we're cutting the fuck out. But the me looking at my arm is real. And then it sliced over, I think it was the same corner of it, sliced Anthony Esposito's jacket wide open. This is a prototype and they're working on the waviness. They're working on the sharp edges, but
again, this is fair. Not a final production vehicle. And it's unlikely that Tesla will be producing vehicles that are likely to be slicing people open. So hard to consider this a valid criticism yet until we actually see production vehicles in customers' hands and whether or not they start reporting that they're accidentally slicing their arms off by walking past their Cybertruck or not.
Like it actually bit.
Pedestrian safety.
But
yes, now this came up a lot in the comments when I originally posted my Cybertruck is Engineering Genius video. There was 2 major comments that I saw from people that were like super skeptical. Oh man, that's not going to be safe enough. They're not going to allow that on roads. Pedestrian safety. And the other one was, oh my God, bro, don't you understand? If the steel's really strong, they can't make it safe in crashes. All previously debunked. But it's interesting to see this point coming up now.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I went into
pedestrian's fine, except for their organs are all...
Well, here's the other thing is that, I made a line about their pedestrian safety because the thing looks like the front of it's like 6 feet tall. Like you genuinely think you're going to walk up to the front of it. It's way lower than an F-150.
And here we go, a nose-to-nose comparison. For those of you watching who understand physics, probably a minority, it's quite clear which of these vehicles you personally would prefer to get hit by. If you understand energy, velocity... You look at this and go, oh, okay, yeah. I would much rather get hit by the Cybertruck here than the much taller, much flatter brick wall that is the F-150. Why would that be? For those who are unsure, if you're a pedestrian who stands, let's say approximately your head's up here somewhere, your waist is somewhere around here, you hit the Cybertruck, odds are you're going to fly up onto the hood of the vehicle as opposed to hitting the brick wall over here, the F-150. which is much more likely to delete you. Again, this is minor, but it's interesting, isn't it? The observations initially, people see the Cybertruck, and many people have had this same observation. What if it hits a pedestrian? Bro, I'm telling you right now, again, if anyone understands physics, it's very obvious when you look at this side-by-side comparison, which of these two vehicles you would prefer to get hit by. That said, I highly recommend not getting hit by either of these vehicles or, in fact, any vehicles ever. I mean, that's my personal recommendation. Just don't get hit. Also, keep in mind that Tesla has incredible active safety features, and in the event of a pedestrian collision on some of the other vehicles, they'll actually lift some of the hood up to further dampen and reduce the impact/physical trauma. But again, just better not to get hit by anything.
Any of the other trucks. And height is directly, the bluntness and heightness of the front end is directly proportional to death rates on these trucks. And it's way lower. I don't want to get hit by one.
But you want to be a certain level of height, right? You want to be about waist height, right?
Well,
if it's too low, that's problematic.
Right, yeah. But listen, I don't want to get hit by this steel that doesn't bend, but I don't know what's worse. That or the blunt-faced F-150. Like, these trucks are all fucking scary. I hear all this shit online about visibility. Visibility out of the thing is not bad. Forward. Back, you could run over an apartment building and probably wouldn't dent it.
And just to clarify, in Cybertruck, there is a rear-facing camera which will display on your interface, your screen, meaning visibility behind you is fine. However, if you're expecting to look into a rear vision mirror, not so much, unless, of course, your cover is down. But this is the point. You have excellent visibility behind you, assuming you actually use your eyes and they're open and the photons from the rear view camera are entering your eye. So again, it's a non-starter. It may sound bad if you don't clarify. There's a rear view camera and that is on your screen for you to see behind you. It's just a little bit different. People have to get used to this. Retrain the muscle memory. Instead of looking up to the rear vision mirror, looking down to the rear vision camera.
You know, the headlights they work fine, but they're very, very small opening down on the bumper. And I thought, okay, what happens when they get full of snow? Like it's the ultimate non-Socko treatment of headlights. They're just a bunch of things, the questions that I have.
Now, this is entirely fair. Many people have questions, but I have also got a question. Ready? We're getting a bit meta here. Do you think that Tesla's big-brained engineers thought to themselves, I wonder what if this situation occurs? How will we address this potential issue? Or do you think they just made a nice, pretty design and then said, let's manufacture this at volume. We don't really need to think about all the things that guys on a podcast think about. Again, this is important. And this is the same kind of question one could have asked the folks in the comments years ago, explaining how Cybertruck wouldn't be able to crash safely and it wouldn't pass any crash safety tests. It's like, are you sure that Tesla's engineers haven't actually thought about that? And are you aware that you can engineer vehicles to perform a certain way when impacted? Do you not? So again, plenty of questions, but I would hypothesize that Tesla's big brain engineers have actually thought about these questions and in fact addressed them. I mean, I could be wrong, but given Tesla's track record, I find this fairly unlikely.
But I really did go into this whole experiment kind of hating the Cybertruck, hating everything it stood for, kind of hating
the Cybertruck, hating everything it stood for. Again, to the previous analogy, perhaps hating Chad the Thundercock, who you see as a threat to your ability to retain your wonderful girlfriend. And these are some powerful insights, folks. Again, these guys are like legacy automotive industry experts / car guys / fanboys / whatever, right? They're in this world. So we start to understand some of the resistance to Tesla disrupting the internal organs of their beloved girlfriend, aka the legacy automotive industry.
The way it looked, the idea of all the excess, and I came away from it like loving
Respecting it.
No, loving it.
Now look at that. Quite a moment there. And you got to give credit, right? The guy had a bunch of pre-existing biases, literally hating the vehicle, hating everything it stood for, really, not my words, right? You just heard. And now after actually looking at the thing, understanding it, testing it, loving the product, literally now loving the guy that's nailing his girlfriend like he's never been able to. This is quite a moment. And remember, the whole reason I'm sharing these insights is because this is exactly what is going to play out throughout the United States as these vehicles start hitting roads and work sites, and people who had their preconceptions, their hate for Elon, for Tesla, for electric vehicles, whatever it represents, blah, 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 actually see what this thing can do, what it's all about, its capabilities. I cannot underscore, shout out to James, enough, the transformation, the shift in mentality and mindset that will occur among most of Cybertruck's current haters when they actually get to see what this thing can do in person, as opposed to having a gut emotional reaction. And this is one thing that I guarantee you, zero of the geniuses on Wall Street have even considered. Last I recall, Moore on Stanley were estimating that there would be annual demand for Cybertruck of 50,000 units. 50,000? That's it? Bruh. Tesla's going to be selling 50,000 Cybertrucks in a single state in the United States at some point in the future.
Loving it.
More than that.
What did you find lovable?
The fact that it does so many things so well without being excessive. There's still that like Lotus-like obsession with simplicity and lightweight that went into even this thing. Like the fucking Aero wheel covers. Like, so it's got these hubcaps on them. They're rubber. The reason they're rubber is because they tried to make them out of plastic and the wheel would flex and the plastic would go flying off. So they made them out of rubber. But that means you can't curb the wheel. And they're removable, by the way.
Why is this problem something that has never arisen before? What is specific about this thing that causes the wheels to flex in a way that plastic does not suit?
It's just that they wanted a flush cover on that's durable that you can take off-road and can do all this other shit. That's all. And they wanted it to protrude so you don't scratch your wheels.
So, in short, Tesla wanted to do something that's never been done before. They tried and went, oh, that's not working. All right, we'll have to just invent something entirely new that's never been done before. End result, we've got these caps, these covers that are suitable in all conditions, on-road and off-road. And now, bizarrely, no one had thought to do this before. You can't curb your tire because it's rubber. Just take a step back here. Imagine you are an automotive manufacturer. You're in the industry. You've been doing this for decades. And at no point has the idea occurred to you, or at least the idea occurred to somebody and then been implemented, to do something new to the point where you literally can't curb a tire. Tesla, again, just a tiny little thing, embarrassing an entire industry. Why was it that Tesla had to come up with this idea and implement it? Good question, isn't it?
So they made this sort of new, never seen before type of wheel cover that's made out of rubber. It's fucking genius. Like, I just gored the right rear wheel of my e-Golf again last month. Like, damn it, that's another $300 at the wheel shop. Wow. To not have to fucking worry about that. The steering, by the end of filming, I actually re-recorded one of the segments so I can add the line. It makes you think, why the hell is steering not always been like this?
That's literally the story of Tesla's life. Everything they do, eventually, in the fullness of time. Why hasn't it always been like this? Why did anyone ever do it any other way? Now again, remember, these are automotive experts, right? These guys, car lovers. And Jason, who came in with extreme anti-Cybertruck biases, is ranting and raving. Genius wheel covers. And why hasn't steering always been like this? This really matters. Starts as a hater with preconceptions, experiences the product, turns into a ranting, raving lover. Again, his words, loves the Cybertruck.
Because I got into the Rivian afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, don't even turn and get out of the parking spot. You know, there are a couple things I don't love about it. I don't love the rear visibility. I don't love the lack of buttons. I would like to have stalks and shifter and turn signal. But like, the more you drive the thing around, you're like, this thing rides like a fucking dream. That's the other thing. Like, at first I bitched about the ride, and then I realized it's only because I was in beast mode or whatever. I think it's called beast mode. Put it in regular ride, and it's Rolls Roycean in its ride. It handles really well. None of the limit handling magic that Lucid's capable of. No Tesla has ever come close to that, but it handles quite well, as you'll see in the go-kart race. The brakes are indefatigable. I mean, I had them quite on fire. I don't think they were on fire, but they were definitely on smoke. Never stopped working. Didn't give a shit. And this is racing a 6,700 pound truck on a go-kart track. Mm-hmm. And then the consistency and acceleration at battery state of charge, and just the thoughtfulness that went into every single part of this truck I
mean, bro, this could not be a better ad for Tesla. Jason really loves this truck. The thoughtfulness that's gone into picture Jason as the neighbor of the person who lives out in the sticks in rural United States. Well, the guy on the work site who's turned up in a Cybertruck and was like, oh, fucking Tesla, Elon, what's wrong with you, man? This is going to happen hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and ultimately millions of times throughout the United States. This exact same conversation and variations of it. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Didn't have to do. That's the crazy thing. They didn't have to do anything. They could have shit it out, made it look the way it did, and it would have been done, but they didn't. And then to watch that crash test at the end, and you're like, wait a second, what? Like, the car just didn't give a fuck about a 3,100 pound sled?
Yeah, so Porsche should go home. All the legacy manufacturers making EVs. Okay,
Porsche shouldn't go home because they make a 911 GT3.
Right, but the Taycan should go home.
Taycan should go home. They should be humiliated. I'm sorry, Mercedes. If I look at what Mercedes has done to that fucking company that we love so much with the EQS.
Yes.
Which is, we discussed,
and the EQE.
one of the worst consumer products ever. Slight exaggeration. But
Currently available.
Currently available. One of the worst cars you could buy while they're trying to be reinventing everything and make it. And you have a fucking startup that's like, we're done with fuses. We're done with cross car wiring. We're done with ladder frames. We're done with unitary construction. We're done with paint shop. We're done with all of this other shit. We've just had it. We're throwing it all out. Fuck your suppliers. Fuck your dysfunction. Fuck your 12-volt shit. We're just doing it our way from start to finish. Oh, and then we're throwing it out and doing it again because it wasn't good enough. The fuck? The fuck? Like, I thought the world was finally going to catch up to Tesla.
I want this kind of thinking in a product that I actually want.
Yeah, me too.
So again, we can clearly see that Jason really, really wants legacy companies to catch up to Tesla, to be successful. But Jason, I'm here to tell you, they were never going to catch up. This has been evident for over a decade, and they never will. And isn't it interesting, again, this is like, I really want this in a vehicle that I actually want. The resistance. It's like objectively better than any conventional pickup truck that has ever existed. Yet, there are still some people, oh man, if only it wasn't a Tesla, if only it looked more conventional. In the fullness of time, you know what's going to happen, right? As I said in my Cybertruck is Engineering Genius video, parentheses, and will be copied. It's going to be very embarrassing and difficult, but other companies, if they wish to be in business producing trucks that do truck things, are going to have to copy Tesla Cybertruck, similar form factor, stainless steel exoskeleton. Otherwise, they will not be able to offer the same utility, the same functionality. Tesla's reinvented what a truck should be and what it is capable of doing. And in the fullness of time, when people see this, it's going to become the standard, the benchmark. And there are some things from an engineering point of view that just cannot be accomplished, at least not economically, to a point where you could sell a vehicle for a comparable price with comparable performance features and functionality to a Cybertruck. They're going to have to copy the stainless steel exoskeleton. They're going to have to copy steer-by-wire. They're going to have to go to the new 48 voltage system. These are non-negotiables. And it will take a while for consumers to get used to it. But I really do think that in the future, when people think truck, they're going to think Cybertruck. And today's standard pickup truck designs, which have barely changed in about a century, a few years from now, really are going to look like princess wagons. It's just going to take time for some people to adjust and adapt.
From Tesla or Lucid?
From anyone, I don't care.
Yes,
I mean, the best part
that's
the best part about Elon is from start to finish, he has said the Tesla's mission is to accelerate the advancement of the electric car and sustainable transportation. Blah 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 blah. And so he has open source shared everything they do with every other car company, and they're all so fucking dumb they don't even steal his homework.
This man is spitting some facts. Have I ever described legacy automotive companies as so fucking dumb? I believe I have, because they are. The level of potato in these companies cannot be overstated. I mean, really. I don't use the term so fucking dumb and brain dead and morons for the sake of hyperbole. I mean what I say. Some of the dumbest motherfuckers on earth are decision makers in legacy automotive companies.
Like, he's like, here it is, and they still won't copy what he is doing. And even 10 years ahead of everybody else. I mean, go watch one of the Monroe and Associates teardowns of like Teslas, and you get like, you know, the Toyota CEOs going, oh, fuck, they're like a decade and a half ahead of us. Shit. They still don't do anything about it. And now Tesla, with that kind of a lead, is, and now the best-selling car on the planet with the Model Y, although there's some arguing about that. Maybe Corolla might have beat it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's up there. And now they're like, watch this. We're just going to reinvent the whole car. And so the next Model 3, yeah, and Y and S and X and whatever else they're going to do, Roadsters next. Like, holy shit. What the fuck? If this fucking pickup truck on mud tires can do 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds without a chirp from the tires because the traction control is that good, what in the fuck is that Roadster going to do?
Didn't they say 1.9?
Yeah, but they're going to beat that now because the Lucid Air does 1.89, the Sapphire. So they can't, sorry, they're never going to, I mean, what a time to be an engineer for one of those companies, and sorry to every other car company on the planet.
I wish hatchbacks and station wagons were not the last thing that we're ever I mean, we're just going to kill them and they're never going to get rendered in this way.
No. At some point, commuter cars will become electric and this. We're just going to have to wait 20. That's the sad part, is by the time the regulars catch up to what Tesla's doing, we'll be too old. You'll especially be too old to drive.
I'll be too old to be alive.
Possibly. Yeah.
Well.
Anyway, amazing, because it was such an about face. I went into the video incredibly thankful to Tesla for the opportunity to be one of apparently 3 people in the world to drive it. But I went in with this, oh God, how am I going to make this positive? Like, I can't bite the hand that feeds me. So I'm like, well, I'll just make it all about information, and I'll just be all about information, and I don't put my opinion in there. But during the course of filming, I went from thinking, oh God, why the fuck did they do this? To like, wow, why the fuck did they do this? They didn't have to, but they did it. And that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Now, looking forward to that technology, maybe not being in something that I wouldn't want to park in front of my house because of what it says. Mm-hmm. In the same way that I wouldn't want to park a Hummer, or I wouldn't park, I would totally park an LMO too.
Yes.
But,
oldness does that.
Interesting comments, I suggest, stemming from a place of giving a fuck what other people think. Obviously, I wouldn't want to park this in front of my house because of what it says to other people, aka what other people think about me. Each to their own. But again, even some of these holdouts, eventually, when Cybertrucks are ubiquitous, it's no longer going to say the same thing they think it says about them when they're everywhere.
It removes the douchiness.
Yeah.
Nothing like time to erode douchiness.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You wouldn't do it with an Aventador, but you would with a Countach.
Absolutely.
But in period, I wouldn't do it with a Countach.
No. Yeah, and I wouldn't do it with a Porsche now, like a GT3. Yes, I would. I'd hide it in the back.
Yes, but you'd own it.
Along with the bodies that I would have had to bury in order to be able to afford a GT3.
Of course. Goes without saying. No. Not everyone can afford to take their bodies elsewhere to dispose of them. You have to dispose of them in the comfort of your own home.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta check your privilege.
Whatever it takes to buy a Porsche GT car. And I could see it on all of their faces. They couldn't wait to show me what they did. And they were so proud of these accomplishments, and they're so excited about all of it. And they're like, we just can't wait for the world to see this. And you know why? It's because everyone formed their fucking opinion about this thing. Mm-hmm. Everyone took one look at it and either were like, I have to have it, or fuck that Elon guy, fuck this company, what a sick joke. This is Elon's ego running completely out of fucking control. Look at that fucking window breaking. How stupid is this? And they had to clean up that mess twice over 4 years, and they can't wait to get it out. So I am very touched by what I think is going to be the public's reaction to this thing when people get behind the wheel of it. Because these people who have endured all this shit.
Let us hope that its first impression is not so strong that no one can objectively look at it. Invariably, that's going to happen.
It would have. Had I not gotten the engineering background, I don't think I would have. That was... By
the way, can confirm, when I posted my Cybertruck is Engineering Genius videos, keyword there, engineering genius, one of the most common comments was, I fucking hated this thing when I first saw it, but now that I understand why it looks the way that it does, the engineering, the functionality, I really love it. I've ordered one. So he's absolutely spot on. Many people judge on the aesthetic, don't understand why, assume it sucks, assume it can't do what they want it to, and dismiss. But when people learn about what it's capable of and the reasons behind certain things, they convert to reservation holders, or at least lovers from a distance who still refuse to buy one because they don't want to park it outside because people might have opinions about them they don't want. What a way to live.
That was the biggest mindfuck, is I don't think I would have ever been as impressed by this thing as...
And what consumers are going to actually perceive all that.
Right. My first impression was, whoa, the fucking steering's wild. Like, okay, 2 minutes later, it was fine. But that first impression was like, yeah, somebody's going to hit a curb. They are. But you're not going to scrape the wheel. Right.
Yes.
You're going to have to take a little while to get used to not being able to see out the back and trusting the little camera. Is it as good as a mirror? Absolutely not. Could you drive with the tonneau down and lose 10% range? Sure. That's exactly.
So I don't want to be too much of an obnoxious twat here, but is a camera as good as a mirror? Can a camera convey the same visual information via photons as a mirror? In all meaningful ways, yes, providing it has sufficient resolution, which the Cybertruck's camera does. I think there's a little bit of, I don't like change coming through here. It's like the same folks who are like having conniptions about the idea that an iPhone didn't have a button for every letter in the alphabet for typing messages to people, therefore not as good. Some things just take getting used to. Change can be uncomfortable.
Exactly what I would do. I'd keep the mirror in and use it. But I don't think anyone who's driving one of these, who's going to buy one of these cars, is really that concerned with utility and usability.
There's truth in this that there will be some consumers who just want a Cybertruck because it looks cool as But this is a major mistake a lot of people, especially traditional pickup truck owners and car guys, are making, assuming it can't do what a truck can do. This is absolutely untrue. The bed, just a little bit bigger than an F-150. Towing capacity, payload capacity, better than any trucks on the market except some of the super trucks. On every meaningful metric, a Cybertruck matches or exceeds a traditional pickup truck. So it's true there'll be some people that aren't buying it to do those things, but when enough people see that it can do those things if they need it to do those things, many will buy a Cybertruck specifically because it can do the things that today many people don't think it's capable of doing. Again, it's going to take time, but it will happen.
In the same way that anyone who drives a Lamborghini doesn't really give a shit. However, there happens to be real engineering substance behind the Lamborghini stuff. Like the last of the Huracans were genuinely tremendous. And same thing here. There's all kinds of capability in here. We'll see if Elon's dream is shared by millions of others about what the future of a pickup truck
People like
looks
trucks, especially in this country.
But will they accept something that is this different? Is my question.
Truck people, regular old dyed-in-the-wool, I live in the middle of America and drive an F-150 every day people.
People who buy an F-150 Lightning, or people who use, or contractors, right? Immediately, my Anthony was like, no fucking contractors ever gonna drive this thing. Ever. Fuck this, whatever. And I'm like, wait. Think about this for a second. You have 100% lockable storage. That's not just like, oh, I put a cap on the bed of my pickup truck and lock it, and so anyone can break in, or just, a steel toolbox. Actual lockable storage. And then you have, I think it's a 6 kilowatt, 240 volt plug at the back. So you can just run your welder or like anything else you want. Oh, and you can do 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. And all these other little benefits of Tesla's connected apps and the charging network and data you start adding in as a contractor. And I don't have to worry about a door ding. I don't have to worry about smacking into something slow at slow speeds in a parking lot.
And here we go. He's spitting facts right now. This is important. It will take time. But Cybertruck's functionality, utility versus a conventional pickup truck, on par or exceeds everything that matters. Now, yes, there's a few exceptions to the rule. If you want to have side loading from the bed, you can't fold the sides down. But for the 80+% of consumers in the middle of the bell curve, in terms of needing a truck to do truck things, Cybertruck will meet and exceed their expectations and anything else out in the marketplace for comparable money. This really matters.
Contractors always hit shit because, contractors, because work sites are like hazardous. You just start thinking from the perspective of the people who really use these things. I don't know about it. They might actually, it could work.
Correction, will work.
Could work. I don't know. I'm super curious to see if it's adopted by the sort of worker crowd. But, I need to get to this job site and it's like there's 12 inches of mud. I throw it. Pretty cool benefit. I don't know. Amazing. My mind is not blown that often in this industry. And I hate that it continues to be blown by like fucking Lucid and Tesla. Because I know
exclusively.
Porsche. I mean, there are other car companies that are doing great shit occasionally, but not like this. Like this is like, oh God, stop it, guys. You're embarrassing everyone else.
Telling comments. Back to the analogy. She's screaming like she's never screamed before. And it's hard to take. That's what she said.
And they still aren't going after it, so carry on.
Literally gave them homework. Let's see how long it takes for every other car company to start using 48 volt everything. It's going to be years, is my prediction. They're like, oh, we used a 48 volt suspension actuator, or, oh, we have a 48 volt mild hybrid system. What the fuck does that do for the rest of the entire car? Your friggin' heater. That's
AMG 53, anyone?
Oh, God. Anyway, fascinating story. I hope, I can't wait to hear. I heard Marquez has driven it, and Jack Ricks from Top Gear. That's what I've been told. And I can't wait to see what they have to say. Because right now, I'm like on an island by myself. Haven't talked to anyone who's driven it. So could be that I got it all wrong and everyone.
Well, you got the engineering story, which they may not have gotten. So
apparently not.
That, then they might have a very different impression of it.
Yeah. That would be fascinating. If they both are like, this is unnecessary and it's excessive, and they didn't bring a set of scales to see that it was actually lighter, like maybe, it's so fascinating. So fascinating. This is a kind of I don't want to say a once in a career opportunity, but a very, very rare one. So looking forward to hearing all the hate.
Yay.
Another extremely telling comment. Jason here is looking forward to hearing all the hate after he says positive things about a Tesla vehicle. Does that not tell you everything you need to know? Again, highly recommend you guys watch the full discussion, link in description. It is full of gems and incredible insights, and is emblematic of almost identical conversations that will take place throughout the United States as Cybertrucks hit roads, garages, parking lots, and work sites. I don't think anyone has truly understood how disruptive and popular Cybertruck will be in the fullness of time. So don't say I didn't warn you. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.